Freedom Planet 1 was best described as a Sonic game developed by Treasure. It was lauded as being a game both Sonic fans and Sonic haters could enjoy, as it kept most of the core elements of the series that made it fun, and corrected what many people took issue with. Going into Freedom Planet 2, I expected the game to be an improvement on these core fundamentals, and not much else. If that were the case, I'd simply make a tweet telling people to go buy the game. However, Freedom Planet 2 astounded me so thoroughly that I had to make an entire review to express my feelings. First of all, the level design is just on another level here. Whether you enjoy speeding through stages or exploring huge levels with branching paths, every single stage in Freedom Planet 2 accommodates players to play how they see most fit. Many improvements have been made since the first game, and by extension since 2D Sonic. Some of my favorites include having a warning signal for off-screen enemies, an interesting life system where you can revive on the spot with a tiny bit of health, at the cost of your rank, hub areas with interesting NPCs, and all boss fights having health bars. One huge advantage I can lobby against Sonic games, in favor of this game, is that in Sonic, when you mess up and take the lower path, it can be a genuine punishment and a slog to get through. In Freedom Planet 2, however, taking the lower path is still fun, exciting, and fast. Yeah, the higher path is still worth shooting for, but the game never wants to present you with a situation it would deem unfun. The game would rather place its challenge in its spectacular boss fights, which look and feel just as good and as hype as the stages. All of this is presented in top-of-the-line sprite work. The 32 inspiration is there and is cool, but no 32-bit console was achieving this amount of detail. And this amount of unique sprites! Every 2 minutes you're seeing new landscapes, new enemies, new palettes, new animations, and new music, which bangs. Take a listen. Those animations, by the way, look so good. Some moves are so satisfying to look at that I use them even when they're not optimal. Like, I don't care if it doesn't do much damage. I'm watching Lilac do her dive kick because now she does a million of them. I didn't think you could take the limiters off of Freedom Planet 1's gameplay, but it turns out there was a lot of room to expand these characters' agility and combat ability. Firstly, everyone has a parry now. Giving the playable characters a defensive option has allowed the level and boss designs to be cranked up to what would be insanity. Luckily, the parry allows you to weave in and out of attacks gracefully. For dedicated combat encounters, this enables skilled players to keep their insane pressure up while dodging away only for the precise moments they need to. It's gonna be hard going back to the first game and not being able to dodge like this. The playable cast have all been given significant upgrades to let them explore, fight, and speed through the stages with more freedom than they ever had before. This is all bolstered by a good, optional tutorial and a move list/guide in the pause menu. I especially like the guide because it'll tell you how to use the moves that you may not figure out on your own, and some of their applications. Even the simplest character, Lilac, has a few tricks up her sleeve that I may not have used as well without the guide. Speaking of Lilac, I feel like a lot of people will see that she still can't spin dash directly up or down and say she's still limited. Because of that, I'm worried that they'll miss the game-changing tweaks she's received, such as she can uppercut in mid-air, which acts as a double jump. Her Cyclone move no longer takes meters, so she can use it and then a spin dash. She can also cancel her spin dash, leaving behind a big, lingering hitbox. She got all of that and still is the least changed character from before. Carol, a character I didn't enjoy playing as in the first game, has been significantly upgraded. Her new chakram has given her the on-the-fly mobility I felt she so desperately needed in the first game. With it, she can hurl herself all over the place and attack enemies from a good distance for a large amount of damage. Of course, finding her bike still makes her way more fun, but I no longer feel like it's a requirement for her to have a good time anymore. Mila will probably remain the main character used for speedrunning. She can still create her own speed without the use of meter. Her changes have more so turned her into a well-rounded character. In the previous game, she had special attributes. She didn't have an adventure mode, and she had a short health bar. Now, she's been normalized, and is truly as much a part of the main cast as everyone else. With her new melee attacks and simplified stacking of her cubes, I'm surprised to say she's become a very beginner-friendly character now. I'd still recommend your first run be with Lilac, but Mila's definitely not a bad place to start either. Mira is the newcomer to the group and has been designed to focus on combat, rather than speed. Although she does have a single move that will accelerate her beyond normal walking speed, she doesn't get anything else. She is the only character with a straight-up double jump, which I found to be more fun than I expected. She seems to be a setup character, honestly. I'm not sure how much depth and damage you can pull out of her, but I wouldn't be surprised if she's able to kill bosses the fastest. I personally was unable to figure out her secret sauce, but her ice disc does indeed one-shot all normal enemies. What I found most entertaining about Nira was how different her attitude was during dialogue. All the other characters are semi-childish and innocent, and Nira responds to that with genuine disgust and anger.
These communication devices may prove useful.
If you're getting tired of Carol being cringe, swapping to Nira will be a good palate cleanser. All of these characters play off each other and non-playable cast very well in the story and dialogue. There are no losers here. No character bored me or was overshadowed by anyone else. It's a rare thing for me to try and figure out my favorite characters and realize just how big the list is to choose from. For an action platformer, there's a lot of narrative content to latch onto without becoming overbearing. The voice acting has a big role in that. All of the returning cast have noticeably improved their performances, and new characters are casted very well. One character is even voiced by Christopher Sabat, which I don't know how they got him, but good job doing so.
You? Seriously? You're practically a child!
His performance and everyone else's helped draw me into the narrative, and made me care about these characters and this surprisingly grand tale. The story ended up being a lot better than I expected. It flows well and kept me interested the entire time. There were even a few moments that had me actually laugh out loud.
Do you hate Mondays like we do? Then come on down to the Battlesphere for Mayhem Monday! Where fighters from all around the globe duke it out for a chance to win the grand prize! Are you a bad enough dude to survive the Battlesphere? If you are, you'll face me, Captain Kalau! Enter now!
The game took a risk that the first one didn't, and had some stories and character arcs happen mostly off-screen, unless you're playing through that specific character's adventure mode. This could be seen as pulling a Final Fantasy XV, but you don't have to go and buy DLCs in order to understand what happened to the other characters. You just have to play someone else's campaign. It doesn't weaken the story either, because while you may be missing out on, say, Mila's arc, you're getting to see Lilac go through her character arc instead. It ended up being a really good motivator to play everyone's story. I was worried that the game was starting to take on themes that were too big for its britches. I won't spoil where the story goes, I've only been showing early levels actually. But the story ended up dealing with these grander themes very maturely. I was surprised to see the characters who needed to grow and change actually do so. Overall, props to the presentation of story here. It's one of the big ways that the game goes beyond its inspirations. I think what impresses me the most about the game, though, is its sheer content. I don't want to go and say that the game has tripled the amount of levels since the first, but I think it's damn close. No acts or phases either. It never stops becoming jarringly impressive to see a new art asset, enemy, or mechanic and then just blow past it, never to be seen again. I mean, look at this enemy. Look at him. He's got hands. He's got hands. Look at him. I love him. And I swear, he's only in this one level. Do you know how much of the levels you'll miss on your first playthrough? It's gonna be like more than half. I'll tell you that right now. On my second, third, and fourth playthroughs of this game, I was still discovering new things. They weren't minor either. They were entire paths, animations, and collectibles. I'm having trouble winding down here because I want to convey just how much I love this game without getting hyperbolic. The truth is though, in a year with Sifu, Bayonetta 3, God of War Ragnarok, and No More Heroes 3 coming to platforms that can handle it, Freedom Planet 2 still might be my game of the year. Yeah, it's taken heavy inspiration from some of the greatest games of all time, but I think it'd be a disservice to continue to see this masterpiece as just an amalgamation of old, cool ideas. It goes so far beyond those bars set. Words can't do it justice because you really do have to play the game and feel the hype for yourself. I want to see this game blow up so bad. I want the world to see that this isn't If Treasure Made a Sonic game. This is if Galaxy Trail made Freedom Planet 2. And that's better.